So this is the story of how I had an encounter with Jesus. This was a couple years ago, and I don't remember what I was doing that day or anything like that, but I just remember the encounter. Um, it started off, I was in this black car. We were on a road, and it was a wheat field on both sides, like this beautiful wheat field. And all I know, the atmosphere was peace. Now that I think about it, it was like a peace. Imagine a peace where there's no sin at all in the atmosphere. It was completely still. Um, Everything was crisp. I don't know the make and model of the car. I just knew it had clear windows and it was black. I was sitting in the passenger side on the back seat. I don't know who was driving. Um, but we were going down this road in the middle of this wheat field, and in the distance, I saw two people. One was very, very tall. The other person was shorter. But I remember the shorter person looking at me, and I remember he had these big, piercing eyes. And all of a sudden, as we're riding in this car, I was outside of the car and I was in front of these two people. The tallest person had to be about 7, 8 feet. It looked like a black man with a short haircut and had on, it looked like a black hoodie and like black joggers or jeans or something like that, but it wasn't that. It was some different kind of outfit, but it looked like that. That was an angel. I knew that was an angel. He looked very serious. Not me, but he looked very serious. But the shorter person, everything in me, everything in the atmosphere told me that this was Jesus. Like existence itself, including my very body, told me that this was Jesus. There was no doubt in my mind that this was Jesus. Like everything just declared who he was. He had on this robe. It was like a kingly robe, and it was like multiple colors and swirls, and it was like mainly that blue, a vivid crisp blue, and it had like other colors, greens and purples and golds and stuff. And the colors looked so vivid, they looked alive. This was the most vivid thing that I've ever seen. I can't even explain how vivid and crisp everything in this vision looked. He looked about to be 6 foot, around that height, and he looked Middle Eastern. And he had black hair. I went up and shook the angel's hand. He shook my hand. He was kind, but he was serious. Then I went to shake Jesus' hand. When the skin on my fingers touched Jesus, a jolt of electricity went through my body. And it felt like I was seeing it from like the outside as I was experiencing it, and it looked like an x-ray kind of, but it felt like everything that you associate with good in its purest form, everything good, joy, peace, happiness in its purest form, everything, all of those feelings, all of those emotions of good times a jillion, and it felt like it just kept whelming up and building up, and like it would build up forever. That's how it felt. Like it would just like build up to infinity. It would never stop getting stronger. That's how it felt. And I couldn't take it. Like it was just so much. I felt like I was gonna burst at the seams. Like my whole body was just gonna get ripped apart by this feeling if it didn't stop. That's how it felt. But it wasn't like pain. It was just overwhelming. And then I'm just rolling around on the ground. He still had my hand. He was still holding my hand, and I'm just rolling around in tongues. It was my right hand. And then he sent another, once that stopped, he sent another jolt of electricity through my body. And I'm just rolling around in tongues, just just praising and worshiping and stuff, and it was just so powerful. I can't explain how powerful this was. That feeling, it was uncontainable. God's power is literally uncontainable. If he unleashed the full extent of his power, we couldn't contain it. Like we can't physically hold the full extent of what's inside of him. It was just so overwhelming. And then I woke up and I still felt that tingling feeling in my hand. And after that, I started prophesying. I started seeing in the spirit more. I just started operating in the spirit. And that was my encounter with Jesus. And no one can tell me that he isn't real. And if you want to experience him, and however he wants to experience you, I can't say you have the same experience as me, but if you want to experience him, repent and turn your life to God. Whatever you've done, repent and turn your life to God, and you will encounter Jesus just like I have. God bless.